Hey you guys, it's Kitana here back with another video, and apparently I have just seen this video actually just now that Kitana's been buffed, and I figured I'd react to it, and see the changes, the things that have been made for the better. Probably just made her move stronger, because I heard from a whole lot of people who played as Kitana that she did a lot of long moves, but they didn't do enough damage, and I've experienced that too a lot. So, I always felt like her crushing blow that I got where she, the Royal Execution one, didn't do enough damage. So more than likely, there's probably not going to be too many changes in this video, but I'm just going to react to it. Now, this is not my video. This is True Underdog Gaming or something like that. Just, a disclaimer, not mine. Anyway, let's react.
How's it going, everyone? My name is True Underdog, and the Kitana buffs are finally here. A recent patch has just dropped for Mortal Kombat 11, and Kitana received more changes than any other character, and all of them were buffs, which has me very excited because I play Kitana all the time, and I've also been pretty avid about getting her some buffs because I've always considered her a bit lacking. Not a terrible character, but just kind of missing some things. And for this update, it definitely does seem like they wanted to buff her without affecting Highborn, because that is a very strong variation, and as a result, all these changes really only affect variation 1 and 3, but they're pretty nice. So first off, her fan lift and fan NATO don't get combo damage as much, which means the combos now do more damage overall. So say it with me, everyone, we now have 30% damage. Well, almost 30%, not quite, but you add the jump in and you got 30%. Finally, she's doing average damage. Thank the Elder Gods. Oh, so happy about that. And not only do the combos do more damage, but the opponent can also no longer break away from the fan NATO. So before, if you played Kitana, you do the fan NATO and they would drop, and sometimes you wouldn't even have time to walk forward and uppercut. They drop so darn quick. But now that's no longer the case. The opponent can no longer break away from the fan NATO. So as you can see right here, I have breakaway set to on. Let's go ahead and see if it works. And as you can see, they are not able to drop. They can drop after the uppercut. Can I get 2 uppercuts? That'd be nice. No, I can't, but at the very least, they can't actually drop there. Can I do a jump in and then an uppercut? Yes, you could. Okay, so that's the new bread and butter. If you think the opponent's gonna drop, you do jump in 2 and then uppercut. Actually, how about a jump in 3? Does that work? Let's find out. Not really. The spacing's just not quite there. But that's okay, because jumping 2 does just fine, and we didn't actually spend any meter, so nothing lost on our end. And since Kitana's combos now do more damage, the opponent actually does have a reason to drop, because I don't know about you, but whenever I fought a Kitana and they actually comboed me, I didn't care. Just like when I fight Cetrion, I would let them finish the combo because the combo didn't hurt that bad. But now that Kitana does more damage, the opponent actually has a reason to drop, but they can't drop right away because the fan NATO won't let them. I love it. And the next big change is her Royal Protection. So this no longer goes away after certain hits. Used to this damage buff, I used to think it just didn't work, but apparently it just went away after the first hit. Now that's no longer the case. It lasts for 10 seconds. So check this out. Gonna have Devore just throw a bug at me. I'm gonna absorb it, and then we're gonna get started. And look at that, everyone. We are doing 35%. Did you ever think you would see the day? Now, the throws don't seem to do any more damage, but even so, that combo was 35% and it only cost us 1 bar. But things just keep getting better because this buff actually stacks up to 3 times, and each time you get the buff, the timer actually resets. So in other words, you always have 10 seconds after the parry before the buff wears off. And look at that, 40% damage, only 1 bar. My God, she's a powerhouse now. Now, of course, realistically, you're not going to get this many parries in a row, especially since I can't parry 2 projectiles back to back. So in other words, if I do amplified, that doesn't actually work. See, I unfortunately can't do that. If I could, that'd be really nice, but you know what? I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. This is a pretty nice buff. You can parry up to 3 different projectiles, and each time your buff resets the timer, and it still lasts for 10 seconds. And if you do get all 3, you're getting 40% bread and butters. And that's a really good damage for any character, especially Kitana. And Kitana's fan toss also got an interesting buff as well. So now, she can actually delay the second fan toss when she amplifies, so you can do it right away, or you can wait a bit, and as long as her foot is still up, she can throw that second fan, so up to 7 frames later, That might not seem like a big deal, but Kitana's full screen game was already really strong against certain characters because these fans have really big hitboxes. A lot of characters simply can't jump over them, but now if you delay the fan toss, there's an even bigger gap between both fans, which makes them even tougher to jump over. In fact, here's a side-by-side comparison so we can see the regular EX fan toss next to the delayed fan toss. As you can see, the second fan travels further behind now, which is going to be really good for zoning and maybe certain combos as well. And the last big change for Kitana is that some of her crushing blow requirements actually changed, so let's go ahead and head over to Variation 3 and see what that looks like. Alright, so here we are in Variation 3, so let's check out Edenian Twist. So check this out. This special move now has a second crushing blow requirement. It will now crushing blow on counter hit or as a punish as well, but only against low attacks or crouching attacks. So as an example, let's have Devora just do a down 4 or something like that. Pretty long recovery. So if I beat that, boom, I get the crushing blow. Check that out. I no longer have to wait until I have a fatal blow. Instead, I can now do this move right away, and if the opponent goes for a low attack or a crouching attack, I will blow them up with this crushing blow. However, there is one catch. This crushing blow no longer is available after you land your fatal blow, at least if I'm reading the notes correctly. So even though there are two different ways to get this crushing blow, once you land your fatal blow, you no longer have access to the crushing blow at all, whether it be a low crush or during cooldown. Neither one is possible, which is a bit of an odd change. Once again, I don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth, but I'm kind of wondering why we couldn't just have the new crushing blow requirements and just get rid of the fatal blow cooldown one. But even so, it's still really cool to have a new crushing blow requirement, and now if you avoid a low or a crouching attack, you get this new crushing blow. Pretty cool stuff. And then after all of that, we have a couple of quality of life changes. So this crushing blow used to sometimes not work if only your third hit landed on counter hit. So in other words, your opponent with first two hits, and that third one would land on counter hit because they pressed a button and tried to attack too early. If that happened, you would sometimes not get the crushing blow, and that did happen to me all the time. I would land that third hit on counter hit, but just not get the crushing blow. Now that's no longer going to
Sorry about that, y'all.
not get the crushing blow. Now that's no longer going to happen. If that third hit is a counter hit, then you will get the crushing blow, which is very nice. And then after that, for the final change, the standing 2, otherwise known as Edenian Strike, now has one more frame of hit pause. I'm not quite entirely sure why that's relevant. I was thinking maybe it's a bit better for air juggles now, maybe it has a bit more hit pause, or maybe it's better for standing opponents. I'm not quite...
Sorry about that.
Also stack the damage buffs now, which is even better. Kitana is now one of the higher damaging characters in the game if she does get all of those reflects. Now unfortunately, we didn't get the one change we all wanted for this string. If you do this and the opponent does decide to jump last minute, they can still punish you on hit. That unfortunately does still exist, but you know what? We always have back 1-4 in case the opponent loves to jump all the time. So don't forget about this string. It's also a fantastic way to start off combos. Overall, I am beyond satisfied with these buffs. As someone who plays Kitana more than pretty much any other character, this is far more than I was actually asking for. So thank you so much, NetherRealm. And thank you to everyone who watched this video, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like down below. It really does help my channel.
Well, y'all already know I'm going to be destroying people in Combat League with these changes. Okay, I already have been doing it earlier because, again, I've already played through this. I'm pretty sure I've already played the game since it's been updated, you know, and these changes have been made. You know, I just didn't know every single